Hi, I'm Dr. Emil Tompkins, and we're going to talk today about why kids with attention deficit disorder and autism respond so well to chiropractic care. And it all really comes down to the brain. There are many studies that are showing that there's underdevelopment in different parts of the brain. The most common area is the frontal lobe of the brain, right in the front here. And so the first thing we've got to do is address this frontal lobe of the brain. And if we can make some changes there, over time, we'll start to see changes in some of the symptoms that we have. And the only way we're going to get that frontal lobe to work right is if we work on the center of the brain. It's called the hypothalamus. If we can get that part of the brain functioning well, it stimulates the frontal lobe. So we need to make sure that the hypothalamus is functioning right so it stimulates the frontal lobe. Now you can't go in there and just start poking around at the hypothalamus to make it work right. What we have to do is stimulate it to function better. And the part of the brain that stimulates the hypothalamus is this part in the rear bottom portion of the brain called the cerebellum. And that cerebellum, it's responsible for balance and coordination. Incredibly important part of the brain. And when it's working well, our body actually has good balance. We're really coordinated. And it feeds that middle part of the brain that we mentioned called the hypothalamus. So we've got to get the cerebellum working well. Now that cerebellum is super important. And in order to make sure that it's functioning well, we've got to work on an area just below it called the proprioceptors. We have these little nerve bundles called proprioceptors down here in the brainstem. And in this area of the brainstem, those proprioceptors, what they are going to do is they're little nerve bundles, and those nerve bundles send messages back up into the cerebellum, and then that allows the cerebellum to feed the hypothalamus, which allows the hypothalamus to feed that frontal lobe of the brain. It's super, super important. And so we've got to make sure that we communicate with all these different parts of the brain. And so as we get into this, the proprioceptors in that upper part of the neck, this is where some external interventions can start to make some changes. One thing that we can do are exercises. If we get our kids exercising, then that strengthens the muscles, strengthens those muscles in the uppermost part of the neck. And if you can get those working really well, that can have an effect. Now those proprioceptors, they're in the upper part of the neck, and we have our spine, our spinal cord, we have those nerves that are traveling out of that area. If you can make sure that area is balanced, then we'll also see some improvements in function, which is where chiropractic comes into play. Very gentle adjustments in that area of the spine can make some pretty dramatic changes in the way the nervous system is functioning. So if you follow these steps, if you go to addressing the nervous system this way by activating the proprioceptors with our exercise, with our posture, with chiropractic care, you can make some really amazing changes in the symptoms that we're experiencing from autism or attention deficit disorder. I am Dr. Emil Tompkins. If you have any questions at all, feel free to contact our office. Our number is 520-572-2596. We'll be happy to help you. I hope you have a great and healthy week.